Ian from RTO here. Hope you're all well on this Thursday. Thursday, of course, is Battle of the Debuts Band Day, and we got a twist, and it's the viewers' pick. And I'll just ask people to pick albums they want to go up against each other. And this one is Nirvana versus R.E.M Unplugged. So the first band up today, as they released their album first, is Nirvana. Of course, formed in 1987 by Kurt Cobain and bassist Chris Novoselic, and a succession of drummers. They had Chad Channing before recruiting Dave Grohl in 1990. Very big band. Sort of was there at the beginning of the grunge, but in 1994 things went down. Cobain was found in a hotel room on their tour. And then sadly on April the 8th, Cobain took his own life, which is very, very sad. So must remember to move my phone. So where was we? So MTV Unplugged came out on the 1st of November 1994. So it was after the sad death of Kurt. And this is an acoustic performance recorded at the Sony Music Studios in New York City on November the 18th, 1993. So we've got Kurt Cobain on lead vocals, Chris Novoselic on bass, Dave Grohl on the drums, Pat Smear doing additional guitars. We've got a celloist called Laurie Goldstrun on here as well, and two members of Meat Puppets, Chris Kirkwood and Kirk Kirkwood. So the first track on this one is a track off their Bleach album, and it's called About a Girl. Now there's not too much difference between these two. Instead of playing on electric, it's all on the acoustic, of course, and I think it works very well. Then we have a track from Nevermind, Come As You Are. Now I didn't think this would work, but boy does it, and it comes across very, very well. I like that version. Then we get a hymn called Jesus Don't Want Me for Sunbeam. Now the Vaselines covered this, and I remember this at school, as singing this at school. I don't like this version of it at all, nor the Vaseline. But the next cover they do, I do like, and they did a very good version of it. It's David Bowie's The Man Who Sold the World. They certainly do it justice. They play that little bit of electric at the beginning, because I think you need it, but the rest of the track is acoustic, and it works very, very well. Then we get Pennyroyal Tea, which is from the In Utero album. Although it hasn't got that grungy sound, it does work as an acoustic track. I quite like that. Another track that I wouldn't thought that would have worked on In Utero, that's Dumb, because it's quite a raunchy track, but they do a really good version of it, stripped down. Excellent. Polly off Nevermind works perfectly. It's a great track, and I think this is a better version than the one on Nevermind. On a Plane, another song from Nevermind. Again, I never thought this would work as an acoustic, but I was fooled, and it's really good. Something in the Way from Nevermind. Another track that you really can't tell much difference. It's actually one of my favourite tracks by Nirvana. Now, the next three tracks are by Meat Puppets. From Meat Puppets 2. OK Me. No, Plateau is the first one, sorry. It's quite ironic when you got two members of Meat Puppets on here, and this version is better than the one they did on their album. Then we get Oh Me, Again, better than the Meat Puppets version. Kirk sings it much better. Like a Fire, really good. Then we go back to the In Utero album for All Apologies, another track that worked well. Then they do a cover of this, where a track called When Did You Sleep? Where Did You Sleep Last Night? Now this is an old track that dates back to the 1870s. And Kurt Cobain played guitar on this in a version that pairs on Mark Langan's album The Winding Sheet. Very similar to Mark's version. That was the last track. I was very pleasantly surprised about this Unplugged album because I didn't think it would have worked being a grunge band, but they did. I think a lot of these songs were written like this anyway, so I think it was very easy for the band to do them. I think my only criticism of this album is actually, why do we need the Meat Puppets song? 3 songs, 1 would have been enough. We didn't need the hymn or Where Did You Sleep Last Night. And there's no Smells Like Teen Spirit on here. My only criticisms, but on the whole it's a really good album. So what do the old critics think? Well, it received lots of positive reviews. Tom Hibbett of Q said, this is an acoustic ensemble. Nirvana sounded most moving and possessed of a ragged glory. Rolling Stone writer Barbara O'Dare found the record stirring and occasionally brilliant, with spare and gorgeous spots everywhere, highlighting the band's chemistry on All Apologies and Cobain's unaccompanied performance of Pennyroyal Tea. Ben Thompson of Mojo felt that unlike most Unplugged releases, the format's colourless, generic aspect and not seeing the actual performance benefits Nirvana's record because of how intense it seems in light of Cobain's death. Entertainment Weekly felt unsettled listening to it beyond including a sense of loss of Cobain himself. Unplugged elicits a feeling of musical loss too, the delicacy and intimacy of these acoustics arrangements. So let's have a look at the scores on the doors for that one. So All Music gave it a 5 stars. By Ender gave it 5. Chris Scale's Customer Guide, Robert Customer, gave it an A. Shock Horror. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A. The Guardian gave it 4 out of 4. NME gave it a 9 out of 10. Pitchfork gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Q gave it 4 out of 5. Rolling Stone 4 out of 5, and the Rolling Stone album got 5 out of 5, so pretty good marks. Did well in the charts, #1 here in the UK in the rock and album charts, #1 on the Billboard, 3 times platinum in the UK, 8 times platinum in America, 2 times platinum in the rest of Europe. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality, as I said, too many didn't need all them Meat Puppet songs and the hymn and Where Did You Sleep Last Night. Could have put some more of their own songs on, and it did lack Smells Like Teen Spirit. So I shall give that a 3 out of 5. Production, very well produced. It sounds really good. It's one of the best produced Unplugged albums I've heard, so I shall give that a 4 out of 5. Reception went down of where I think a lot of it had to do with the sad death of Kurt, but I think it would, if it had still he hadn't left us, I think it still would have done very well. So I'm going to give that 5 out of 5. Cover design, I like the cover of this. He sees them on the stage doing acoustic. It's bright, it's colourful, so I should give that a 4. So for MTV Unplugged in New York, I will give it a 17 out of 20. So let's move on to R.E.M. We only covered them the other week on their live stuff. Formed in 1980 by Bill Berry, Peter Buck, Mike Mills and Michael Stipe. One of the first alternative rock bands, and they performed until 2011. This is Unplugged, the complete 1991 and 2001 sessions. Let's hide that. It's making on my nerves. Right. It was released on Record Store Day as a vinyl, but it eventually went on a compact disc, etc., etc. It's 2 performances. One, of course, was for 1991 was for MT Unplugged. The other one was to promote. They did this to promote the album Reveal in 2001. So playing on here on the 1991 version, you get Bill Berry, who plays congos, tambourine, and backing vocals. Peter Buck on acoustic guitar and mandolin. Mike Mills on the bass, backing vocals. And on the 2001 performance, he plays piano and organ on the 1991. Michael Stipe does all the vocals. And the people that appear, we've got Peter Holzapfel plays bass guitar and organ on the 1991 performance. Then Scott McCorney plays guitars, vibraphones on 2001. Ken Stringfellow plays piano and guitar on 2001. And Joey Warwonka plays percussion on the 2001. So disc 1 is the 1991. First track we get is Half a World Away from Out of Time. I don't mind this, it's a pretty good version of it, and I like the acoustic version of that. Disturbance at the Heron House is from Document. It just doesn't work as a acoustic number. Radio Song, it's not a bad version, but it does lack that real chunky bass line from Mick. It doesn't work. That's good. Low from Out of Time, it's far too long. They've gone for the original time. Other bands sort of chunk it down when they do an acoustic version, and it just lacks something. It's not as good. Perfect Circle for Murmur, good as the original. Very, very similar. The only criticism of this, the Congo drums, they're too prominent. You sort of lose the rest of the other instruments. Fall on Me from Life's Rich Pageant. I like this, but again, it's just them congos, sort of congas, are just overshadowed everything else. Belong from Out of Time. I find this very shallow. It doesn't have the same impact as the original. Love Is All Around, which was a cover, of course, of the Trogs. Why did they do it? Because it's not very good. It's the End of the World as We Know It, and I Feel Fine from Document. Really works well as a acoustic number. Very busker-like. I do like that. Then we get Losing My Religion from Out of Time. Again, I think it's a great arrangement, but the conga drums just overshadow the rest of it. A simple drum kit with brushes would have done good. Pop Song, again, it's just ruined by the percussion. Endgame, again, I'm not very keen on it because all I can hear is the conga drums. Fretless, which was from the Until the End of the World soundtrack. Love the original. This just lacks something. Swan Swan H from Life Rich's Pageant. It's okay. It's one of the better songs on here. Rotary 11 from Losing My Religion. Definitely not a good version. It doesn't adapt well as an acoustic number. Get Up from Green. One of my favourite tracks off Green, but it just doesn't work as an acoustic for me. World Leader Pretend. All I'll say is it's nice how a band can ruin their own song. So let's move on to this too, which is the 2001 Unplugged. Don't know where it's actually recorded, but it was all to do with the Reveal album. So the first track is a track from Reveal, All the Way to Reno, You're Gonna Be a Star. Like this version, it's well put together. The percussion is just right. It's not overpowering. Electrolyte from the New Adventures in Hi-Fi. I think this works as well. Very, very good version of it, and Michael sounds brilliant on that. It's great vocal. At My Best Beautiful from Up. I preferred this to the original. I think this is a better song as an acoustic song. Day Sleeper from Up. Again, it's far better than the version on Up. I really like this. Then we get So Central Rain, I'm Sorry from Reckoning. Very good version of it. I can't fault that one at all. Then they do Losing My Religion. Now this version is better than the one from 1991 because it hasn't got that horrible hollow conga on it. It's got a drum, a gentle drum, and it sounds much, much better. Country Feedback from Out of Time, probably the best track on this whole double CD. Brilliant, great version. Koi Hahuga, I think I pronounced that right. It's a great version, as good as the one on Life Rich Pageant. Imitation of Life from Reveal, very good, simply stripped back and works very well. Then we get Find the River from Automatic for the People, an excellent version of this. It just does, they do justice to this great track. The One I Love, great song, and this actually works well on this. I love the piano on it. I think that does add to it. Disappear is another track from Reveal. I love the stripped back version of this. It's very simple, but keep it simple and it works. Beat of a Drum from a Reveal. In my opinion, this is better than the original. I think it's a much crisper version. And then we go another track from Reveal, I've Been High. It's certainly different from the one on Reveal, but it's still a very good version. The upbeat, although it's got the same sort of structure without the upbeat drums. I'll Take the Rain, another one from Reveal. Good version. I think it's just a little bit too long. 5 minutes and 36 seconds of an acoustic song doesn't have well for me. And the last track is Sam Professor from Up. Again, very close to the original. Okay, this album, I've got a bit of mixed feeling about this one. I think disc 2 is far better. They got the drum mix wrong on the Unplugged. They're too hollow, too tinny, and you sort of can't hear everything else, which is a great shame, because I do like how they do their songs, and it proves it on that second disc from 2001 that get the drum mix right, and it's really good, and they have very good songs. So yeah, that's what I think of it. I prefer playing the 2001. So what did the critics think? Now, I always pick people with weird names, or ones I can't pronounce. Andrzej Lewowski of Drowned Sound gave the album a positive review, commenting that R.E.M was a great live band and the acoustic format is a fine showcase for Stipe's remarkable voice. I mean, Michael on both albums is brilliant. Rolling Stone's Will Hermes gave the album 4 out of 5 stars, remarking, no band but the Nirvana made more breathtaking transformative use of MT Unplugged. So let's have a look at the scores on the doors for this one. All Music gave it 3.5 out of 5. American Songwriter gave it a 4.5. Clash 6 out of 10. Drowned in Sound a 7 out of 10. Pop Matters a 7 out of 10. And Rolling Stone gave it a 4 out of 5. The album debuted at number 21 on the Billboard in late May 2014 after having a wide-scale release on compact disc and digital download. It peaked at number 27 on the Italian album charts. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality. Once again, there's some good songs on here, but some didn't work. Production. Apart from the mix of the conga drums, it sounds right. The one on 2002 is fantastic, much better. So I shall give that a 4 out of 5. Reception, reasonably well. Critics liked it, fans sort of liked it. So I shall give that a 3 out of 5. Cover design, I think it's a hideous cover. It's not very catching to the eye. I don't think they could. The distorted, I mean, you can't make out anything. Some bright colours, and that's about it. So I shall give that a 1 out of 5. So for R.E.M's The Complete Unplugged Sessions 1991 and 2001 gives us a total of 11 out of 20. Well, points wise, a clear win for Nirvana. And I'm actually going to have to go with that as my favourite. I was shocked. I thought when I thought, R.E.M will win this for me, but they didn't. I think that what spoilt it on the R.E.M is, I keep saying this, but it's the conga drums on it. It just too tinny, not the right mix. But I got it right for the second disc, and I love that second disc. But the Nirvana all round, it's a great sound. And these songs are definitely how they're written. All the good Unplugged, you know, these songs were actually started out with probably a little drum machine and an acoustic guitar, and that's why they work well. And I think that's how Nirvana wrote songs. It's like what good bands write. They start off very simple, so they just went back to how they made it. So I am going to give this one to Nirvana today because I think it's a really good album, and it's that good I've actually got it in my collection now. So there we go. But I'm sure if you disagree with me, because we've got two different sorts of, we got the the grunge fans and the rock pop alternative rock, but when you take them together and strip it down, there's not much difference in the sound. So if you prefer R.E.M, vote for it. You know where you do this. You do it in the community. The poll goes up round about 2 o'clock, and it'll be on the poll in the live stream tonight, or just put your favourite in the box below. So that's all for this one. I'll be back very shortly with a pick and mix, and it's a trip down memory lane today, and we're going to look at the top 10 singles that were in the UK on the 13th of July 1992. So join me for that. Bye for now.